sweet friends. I hope you are all doing well. I am so excited to be sharing my first project in our 12 Days of Christmas in July series for 2023. If you're new around here, hi, welcome. I'm Ginny, and I glue little pieces of paper to other little pieces of paper, and I love to share my projects. If that sounds good to you, then hit the subscribe button to join my crafty little family. And don't forget to listen for the question of the day so you can join in the fun. Today's project inspiration comes directly from the peeps. I reached out for suggestions and you all really gave me so many great ideas to work with. We're creating a Christmas planner that at first looks like a lot, but I am sharing some shortcuts that will make this really fast and easy. So let's get started. For today, we're working with the Simple Stories Mix and Mingle collection, and this has to be one of my favorites. It is so bright and cheerful with whimsical images, and of course, Simple Stories is one of my favorite brands, so I really enjoy the retro vibe of this collection. The first shortcut that I want to share with you is a traveler notebook that I picked up from the Dollar General, and I'm very sure that you can find something comparable at the Dollar Tree. I originally thought I could use this as it is, but I struggled on how to get anything to stick to the inside. So we decided to deconstruct this and use the parts for our project today. So I'm going to first remove this elastic, and I'm hoping to use this to string the project that we're making today. If it's not large enough, I do have a white piece of elastic and that will work just fine, but I'm hoping to get use out of this because it coordinates so well. So we have to create a sturdy cover for this planner, and I'm working first with 110-pound cardstock. My first piece is going to be 6 high by 10 1/4 wide. It's scored at 4.5 and also 5 3/4. So we're going to get a very generous depth on our spine, and I think we can improve how sturdy this is by adding some additional layers to the outside. I have 2 pieces here that are still the 110-pound cardstock, 6 inches high but 9 inches wide, and it's scored at 4.5. So this is a very good place to use our 2 glue combo, and so I want to just lay a good amount here, far enough in from the edge so that I don't get any of it splooged out onto my work surface. So I'm just going to bring these 2 together. Make sure not to cover my score line. Press that into place, and our double-sided adhesive will hold that in place while the glue sets up. So we can continue to work along here, and then I'll just wrap this over. And now we have 3 thicknesses of that sturdy cardstock, and then we're also going to get a nice finished edge. So I'm going to repeat that process for this side as well. So now I need to punch some holes into the spine so that we can string our elastic. And I've just taken the dimensions of that spine and cut the same from this piece of scrap cardstock. So it's 1 1/4 wide by 6 inches high, and I just folded it right down the middle. Then I took my hole punch and punched my hole right near the end so that we can run our elastic through. Now I can hold this onto the spine and get the proper measurement for this. So I'll just go ahead and hold that in place here and mark where I want to punch, and then I'll flip that to the other side and mark that side as well. Next, I want to punch through with my crocodile all the holes. And because I want the outside of my cover spine finish with the coordinating pattern paper, I've already cut that and it's ready to be adhered. The cardstock for this layer is 5 7/8 high by 1 1/8 wide. The pattern paper is 5 3/4 high by 1 inch wide. And I'm just going to attach this. I'll have a little border of the white cardstock showing. Then I'll come back around and punch those holes one more time. Now I want to reinforce those holes so that I can pull on my elastic and get it just as taut as I need it to be to hold our inserts. So I'm going to thread these eyelets through and then punch them so that they will be a nice reinforcing layer. So I'll just go ahead and do that all the way around. You can hear that noise outside. That would be the tech hubby on the tractor, because country life is just that way. You always have to keep up on all the things. So now I've got my reinforced holes punched for my spine, and I can go ahead and run my elastic. So I'm hoping that this will be enough so that I can tie a good size knot, just going in to that top one and then all the way down here so that the longest sides are going to be on the inside. And you can see now how having those reinforcers is definitely going to help me keep from pulling through. Okay, so I was able to get that tied in there, thankfully, so I'll be able to utilize this. That cover also had this, and I'm not going to utilize that for this project because we're going to put dimensional items on the front, so I don't want this to get caught in them. So here we have our sturdy cover all ready and set to fill. Now I'm going to move on to our next shortcut, and we're going to be creating a one sheet wonder, but we're going to create two of them, and we're going to use that to fill our planner with pockets and pages. And so I'm going to start with a scrap piece of cardstock. It will be easier to demonstrate on non-pattern papers. We're starting with a 12 by 12 sheet of the cardstock, and my first score line comes in at 1.5. The second comes in at 6. The third comes in at 10.5. Then I'm going to flip it and score it at 6. Then where I have indicated, I will cut through. I found it very easy to use my guillotine cutter to get these precise, and I just lined it up along the blade, and I was able to get a nice crisp clean cut. But for today I'll just shear with this pair of scissors, and I'm working just until those lines intersect. Then you want to fold it in half and then bring this page over, and then bring this page over as well. And I'm going to bend in these 1.5 inch flaps. This is going to become our pockets and our flip pages. You would also want to add some adhesive here so that you could adhere this and it would work as a book. You could also have an additional pocket on the end if you wanted to use that as well. So for 2 of these, I'm going to have a pocket, and then for 2, I'm going to have a flip page. So I would just come in here with my adhesive. I think glue is a good choice so that it will be sturdy. And I'll just run a little line here along the end and then hold that in place while it sets up. So you would repeat that for the other side as well. And then we're going to use this other flap to add a flip page. So as you can see, I have prepared this with the pattern paper using those same measurements and the same technique. And you can see I have my flip page in my pocket. And then I've also added double-sided tape to one side. So the first thing I want to do is add my flip page. I decided it would be fun to incorporate some of these printed acetate sheets. And so I'm going to attach these here, and this whole thing will be my flip page. So the measurement for this is going to be 6 by 4 1/4, so that it will be easy to get open. I want to attach these with my tiny attacher. So I'm just going to position this where it will go, right along my score line, and use 2 of the staples, and then flip that around and put 2 staples on this side as well. So now we have created a flip page and an additional pocket. So let's go ahead and repeat that process for this flip. So now we have 2 flip pages and 2 pockets. I'm going to adhere this whole 1-page wonder to one side of my sturdy cover. So of course I want to use both the double-sided adhesive and the Tombow. And then here is my cover. Going to set this up so that I can get this well and truly right into that corner and lined up with the sides as well to keep it nice and square, and then really press that in so that you get a good contact. So when you open the book, you're going to have your pockets and your flip pages. I think it would also be fun to include a interactive element here, and so I've cut some of the funny little dog paper to be 6 inches high by 3.5 inches wide, and I scored it at 1 inch. So this is going to be a flap. I'm going to put my double-sided tape and glue combo and just center that right on that page. If I had a little dog like that, I would for sure be dressing it up in little outfits and scarves and hats. So here is a flip page. I do want to decorate this. So I have one of the tags from those cut aparts, and I'm just going to use the back side because I like the tag shape, but I don't want the pattern on the tag on the front. So I'm just going to line that up right along the edge and the bottom. Then I'm going to cover that with a piece of the offcut. This is a great way to use your offcuts as layering elements. So this is 1.5 inches by 3.5, and that's just going to cover the whole bottom of that flap page. Then I've got a tiny little die cut doily here, and I'm using my sticker sheet for these images that will decorate the front of that. So you could also consider adding the tiny words to this as well once you know what you plan to document for this. So here is a flap. Now that we have pockets, of course, we need to put something in them. So I'm going to utilize the cut aparts here. That's one of the 4x4, and this is one of the 3x4, and you can see how nice it is to have opposing pockets, so you can really fill this planner up. So if you're using this for gift ideas, or you're planning to host a holiday, you want to keep your recipes and your receipts together, or if you just want to document how many Christmas cookies you're eating during the holiday season, then that would be perfect for that as well. And that's probably what I would use mine for. So this will be very versatile, and you can think of a million different ways to get a use out of this, even if you just want to use it for a scrapbook. So we've got 2 of the 4x4 and 2 of the 3x4, along with our flap pages there. And then we also have our flip page on this cover. Okay, so here is my second one sheet wonder. I'm going to put it on the back cover, so make sure to keep the fold lines going out. And also I would recommend that you pick a pattern of paper that is non-directional, so when you start flipping it around, nothing is going to be upside down. So this particular collection only had 2, which sort of limited my choices, but it's okay because I like them both. And I'm just going to repeat that same process of adhering that with the double-sided adhesive and the glue. And I'm just keeping that right against the back so I get that well and truly squared in there. Now we have added a tremendous amount of bulk as well as useful pockets to this, and also our flap pages, which are really sweet. So here is the inside of these, and that 4x4. So here is the book so far. Now we want to add our traveler notebook inserts, which will make it a planner. I've got the inserts that came with that original traveler's notebook, and this particular one happens to be 5 3/4 high, and it would be fine just as it is, but I want to put all the fancy stuff on it. So let's go ahead and cover that. And I put my double-sided tape here, and I'm just going to lay those corners together so that I can get these nice and straight and even. This piece of pink cardstock is cut to be 5 3/4 high, and I just left the full width so that I can wrap it around. So I found the best way to get this to work better, rather than just scoring it and working it around, is to lay it flat and then work your cardstock up over. And now this will work properly. You just need to come in and remove the excess. So now we have the cover with the cardstock. Let's add some pattern paper. This is going to be 5 5/8 high by 3 7/8 wide. And I'm just adding it to the side here. I don't want to add a lot of bulk to the outside, so I'm keeping this centered, and it will work well when we fold it for the traveler notebook. I do want to have the back finished with the pattern paper, so let's add one of those. And then I'm going to use the offcuts for my layering pattern. So let's just drop that right into the corner. This is about 1.5 inches. So I am utilizing all those little bits that have come off while I've been cutting for this project. And one last element to add is one of the cut apart tags. This is so cute. And you want the embellishing for the inserts to be flat so that when you fold it open and you write inside of it, you don't have lumpy bits behind it. So another thing you can do to make these function even better is to add some tab top dividers. So these are not going to be stationary. These will move around, which will make them very versatile. And so you can make each section as big or as little as you need it. And I'm going to use offcuts for this as well. Now I have learned from experience to flip your paper over so that you can get your tab on the other side. Now we did cut these to be 1/4 inch larger than the insert. So they are going to stick out over the top. Just want to line this up now and remove the excess from this side. That was a 2.5 inch tab, by the way. I think that works pretty well if you want to add some of those stickers from the collection to indicate what the section is for. Then you can add these wherever you need them and move them around. And you see they stick out so you can find your sections easily. Go ahead and add that to the book now. So just find the center and stretch it and work it underneath your elastic so that it will hold it in place. I have prepared a second one, and we can utilize that second elastic. Now you can see how much bulk we've added to our planner. This is such a great way to fill this up quickly just by using those shortcuts. I do want to finish the cover with our collection paper, so I've got my cardstock here cut to be 5 7/8 by 4 3/8. The pattern paper is 5 3/4 by 4 1/4, and I'm just going to add that right in the center so that I get that border of the nice white cardstock, and then flip that over and add the front as well. So I think this is a good time for our question of the day, and since I did mention a cookie planner, I guess it would be nice to know, what is your favorite Christmas cookie? I am going to say a frosted sugar cookie with sprinkles, just because it is so extravagantly extra for the season and not something that you get all year. So let me know in the comments, what is your choice for favorite Christmas cookie? Now you can see I've added a layering pattern here, and once again I'm just working through those offcuts, and this is a rectangle doily. I am going to position this almost all the way to the right hand side because I need room for my flowers. So I'm going to position that here and then top it with the image. So this was one of the cut aparts, and I just clipped it down so that it would have the pink frame. And then I've added a layer of glittery cardstock as a border, and I put that up on spacers. Whenever you glue onto the glittery kind of cardstock, you do want to consider using hot glue as well so that you can get it worked down into the texture, and that way you will be sure it is well adhered. So here is the image for the cover, and I have prepared our flowers. If you saw the last video, we did a whole tutorial on making the arrangements for our projects for the 12-day series. So if you want to check that out, I will link it at the top of the description. And I'm also including some beautiful coral rose mini check ribbon. I am just going to position this so that it's down as far as I can without overlapping either edge. I'm going to adhere that with hot glue. I've also picked a couple of very sweet little skate charms here, and I'm going to position those just so they are on top of the raised section. I put those on string so that I could keep them tied exactly where I want. You will adhere that with a little bit of hot glue. Remove the excess, top that with a vintage button, and then we'll finish off with some of these coordinated sequins. And because it's Christmas, I feel like we can go a little extra. Normally I would just put 3, but today I'm going to position some here at the bottom as well. And of course, you know, I like to add these with my Tombow. So that's going to be it for day 1 of our 12 days of Christmas in July series. And don't forget to come back tomorrow for day 2. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to let me know in the comments and give me a big thumbs up for this tutorial. If you haven't already, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. And remember, you can find links to all our socials as well as the products we use today in the description below. As always, I'm wishing you a happy and productive day. And I thank you so much for watching. Bye.